now. People have criticized me for talking about the Nazi regime. It's the one I know most about because I helped to build a Holocaust museum. This is what happened. People's rights started getting taken away. People got accused of being immigrants. This is before the Holocaust really took place. There are lots of authoritarians that I could point to. It happens that I know best because I helped build a Holocaust museum sitting next to Holocaust survivors about what the Nazis did in those early years.
No, I understand that.
I'm not talking about the Holocaust. I'm talking about what they were doing, taking away people's rights, arresting people, asking them for papers. Early on in an authoritarian regime, wherever it is in the world throughout history, this is what happens. It's the beginning of something very bad for our country.
Nah, he's never used Nazi comparisons at all. And it's not just Pritzker. Pretty much everyone in the Democratic Party loves to throw around Nazi references. Take a look.
We have a Timu Hitler in the White House right now.
I don't even know what to call him. I've called him so many things. But this wannabe Hitler, for sure.
Comparing the tactics of Donald Trump to Mussolini and Hitler is a very legitimate thing.
Let me ask you tonight, do you think Donald Trump is a fascist?
Yes, I do.
Donald Trump's modern-day Gestapo is scooping folks up off the streets.
He is paving the way to become a Vladimir Putin or to become an Adolf Hitler or a Kim Jong-un. That's what he wants to be.
Is that not going too far to make a comparison between the President of the United States and the Nazis?
Find me a better analogy.
Well, Hitler was duly elected.
That's right.
Right? And so all of a sudden, somebody with those tendencies, those dictatorial, authoritarian tendencies, would be like, oh, okay, we're going to shut this down. We're going to throw these people in jail. And they didn't usually telegraph that. Trump is telling us what he intends to do.
This is a very dark, vengeful time in the Democratic Party. In fact, that's why Democrats continue to shut down our federal government. This is all one big, angry Trump derangement syndrome stunt in order to gain some kind of political leverage. And they're saying, yeah, we know people will suffer, but we need the leverage over Donald Trump and prove that they can stand up to Donald Trump, the president they detest so much. Take a look.
Republicans control the House, the Senate, and the White House. Frankly, this is our only moment of leverage. And although a very unpleasant tool to use, it's gotten us focused on what we have to do to change direction on health care.
At the very same time, Democrats are once again lying about the shutdown. It's the Schumer shutdown. They're trying to blame Trump while voting 13 times to keep the government closed. Last week, they specifically voted against funding our military, brave men and women that put their lives on the line for us. Today, they specifically voted against funding federal SNAP benefits and food assistance programs. As of Saturday, they are completely out of money. That will impact over 42 million Americans. But according to one Democrat who voted to keep the government closed, it's all President Trump's fault. Figure that out.
There's nothing stopping the Trump administration from making sure that every single one of the 42 million Americans, 16 million children, 8 million seniors, 4 million people with disabilities, 1.2 million veterans received nutrition assistance in November.
All right, the American people, they're not dumb. Everything will go back to normal if Democrats simply vote for a clean, nonpartisan, continuing resolution which funds the government at current levels. This is a crisis caused by the Democratic Party that said they were all against shutdowns. Schumer's whole career was against shutdowns. If Republicans, in fact, are actually surging in the polls as they are, well, let's take a look. 28 days into the shutdown, this isn't working for the Democrats. It's backfiring big time tonight. Take a look.
Take a look here, the shift in net popularity versus pre-shutdown. When we're looking at the Republican Party overall, that brand actually up 2 points. That's within the margin of error, but clearly it hasn't dropped. Come over to this side of the screen. Look at the net approval ratings for Republicans in Congress. It's actually up 5 points since pre-shutdown. So what we're seeing here is the Republican brand in Congress has actually improved somewhat compared to where we were pre-shutdown.
All right. So why does the government remain closed? Well, the answer is pretty telling. Democrats aren't doing this for the good of the country or to be popular across the country. Instead, they are playing to their radical socialist base that wants to burn it all down, transform America into the socialist utopia with free buses, free housing, health care, and whatever else Zoran, commie, Marxist Mamdani is offering. Take a look.
Here is what we stand for, my friends. We are going to freeze the rent for more than 2 million rent-stabilized tenants and use every resource at our disposal to build housing for everyone who needs it. We are going to eliminate the fare on every single bus line and make what are currently the slowest buses in the nation move around this city with ease. And we are going to create universal child care at no cost to parents.
That is their new fearless leader. So let me get this straight. The party that wants everything to be free voted today to take away food benefits from 42 million Americans, including the sick, the elderly, and young children. Now, there's one thing that Comrade Marxist Mamdani doesn't want the government to pay for. That would be the police. There's one thing Mamdani doesn't want to have happen, and he doesn't even want the police. Send in the social workers. According to a vile 2023 anti-Semitic rant from Mamdani, the NYPD is actually, don't tell anybody, they're controlled by Israel's IDF. Take a look.
For anyone to care about these issues, we have to make them hyperlocal. We have to make clear that when the boot of the NYPD is on your neck, it's been laced by the IDF.
There's the guy that's going to be the next mayor of New York City, the leader of the NYPD. And by the way, this wasn't some kind of one-off comment. Let's take a look down, Mamdani history, if you will. This is from 2020. His words. Quote, queer liberation means defund the police, and quote, we don't need an investigation to know that the NYPD is racist, anti-queer, and a major threat to public safety. What we need is to defund the NYPD, not to fake cuts, defund the police. Here's another tweet, quote, defund the harem police. Another, in New York City, 99% of office holders are Democrats, yet they refuse to defund cops who murder with impunity. Electing Democrats isn't enough. We need a political revolution. Another, quote, together we can tax the rich, heal the sick, house the poor, defund the police, build a socialist New York, solidarity forever. Now, that should be disqualifying, but sadly, it now perfectly represents the new radicalized Democratic Party. In fact, it's not really the Democratic Party anymore. Instead, there are two factions, the socialists that hate our American way of life, and then there's the performative Democrats who are clinging to power, bowing at the altar of the radicals, desperate to placate them and soothe that radical base so they can at least be leaders in name only, like Chucky Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries. Dark days indeed for the Democratic Party lay ahead.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, my goodness. Control yourselves. Control. Okay. I hope you enjoy the Halloween candy. You can really taste the Fibercon. Happy Tuesday, everyone. So Halloween is just around the corner. It's that special time of year when certain people keep saying, no, I'm not wearing a mask. Speaking of, on Saturday night in Pennsylvania, police found a bag of cocaine in a child's Halloween candy. Yeah, the kid was so coked up, he went trick-or-treating a week early. Even more, he was able to get candy from 1,400 houses in under 12 minutes. According to a new poll, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson has a better chance of becoming president than Kamala Harris. Also, according to the poll, anyone with Ed Johnson has a better chance of becoming president than Kamala Harris. Zoran Mamdani claims the aunt who was a victim of 9/11 due to her fear of wearing a hijab on the subway was actually his father's cousin who was deceased and may not or may have been in the country at the time. He directed all future questions to his spokesperson. That's Jesse Smollett for you blind people at home.
Juicy.
Juicy. Last night, the LA Dodgers beat the Toronto Blue Jays 6-5 after 18 innings. Yeah. The game took so long because ICE agents kept raiding the dugout. Yeah, we're talking a long game. The Dodgers pitching staff actually had time to learn English because they're Asian. In a recent speech, President Trump joked he doesn't like good-looking people. So he's finally admitting he had sex with Stormy Daniels. Oh, wow. Wow, too soon. And finally, Eric Swalwell is demanding that every 2028 Democrat presidential candidate promise to demolish the new White House ballroom, with fellow Democrat Jerry Nadler pledging, "I am ready to destroy any White House bathroom." You don't have to if you don't really mean it. So Republicans released their report on the cover-up of Joe Biden's decline. And like the best nude beaches for seniors, it's stuff that I already knew. They concluded that Biden's actions cannot all be deemed his own, and that the EOs and presidential pardons signed by AutoPen should be considered null and void, which coincidentally was the original name for the Biden-Harris campaign. They found no proof that a cognitively deteriorating Biden actually made those decisions. So they sent their findings to the DOJ. Pam Bondi even says she's going to review the report. So bad, the AutoPen's threatening to plead the fifth. Now, Congress can't act on voiding them, but the DOJ can legally challenge certain EOs or pardons. But we knew this stuff, that the White House controlled everything from Joe's makeup, clothing, schedule, to even the number of steps he could walk. Because if they didn't, the guy could turn a short walk to the podium into a brush with death. Remember that? That was the Amazon. There he goes. Yep. But this isn't the real story. It's whether a damning congressional report on an invalid president will ever be taken seriously by those who covered it up. Not just the Dems, but the media. If they don't have a reckoning and admit their role, they're toast. And this report can serve as their test, especially for CBS, who hired a new boss to shake things up and create a balanced network, which, granted, will be as daunting as getting Katie Porter laid. I know. God love her. Someone has to. But will all the guilty parties, CNN, MSNBC, the New York Times, all of them cover this honestly? Will they evolve? Or are they dinosaurs seeing a comet approach and thinking, I'll worry about this after the weekend? Because right now, they're failing, like Hunter Biden taking his third urine test. Here's Politico's latest headline, quote, House GOP concludes investigation into Biden's alleged mental decline. Alleged. That's like saying someone's looking into the alleged assassination of Abe Lincoln, or looking into Kathy Griffin's alleged face. Alleged? Alleged to whom? But even before this report, we saw no media remorse, with even less self-awareness than Pritzker in a Speedo. Jake Tapper peddled a book that was more old news than Jimmy Carter's obituary. KJP's trying to sell a book saying that she saw no signs of Joe's decline, despite the stench of rigor mortis. And the media attacks her, as if somehow she was the reason they didn't report the truth. But her job was to cover for Biden. But the media made that their job, too. And now they're saying, hey, yeah, Biden was in decline. Well, thanks for that. What are you going to tell us next? That Hillary uses napalm on her bikini line? Old news. But the media is in fight or flight mode, having realized they're as useless as a comb for Bernie Sanders. Because they knew if the public saw what they saw, their credibility would disappear like Stelter's feet after Thanksgiving dinner. Joe was turning to mush like a bag of month-old avocados, and they told us it wasn't a story. That makes them the story. And now the jig is up. To save